So today I started a couple of projects on honey that I have been waiting to get done for years. One is I am going to actually do a whole outside makeover of her. I'm going to paint her this summer, but there are a bunch of things that I have to get done before I can do that. One is to remove the Eternabond that I put all around the corners. And you can see here, I've already started to do that. It took me a few hours, and I still have to clean up a lot of the mucky stuff that's left behind. But then when I kind of had called it quits for the day, I decided, oh, let's go and do that thing that we've been wanting to do and get it out. So I took out the back window. Yeah, all by myself. Took out that back window because I'll show you what's underneath it. So right under here, there is some delamination, and I think it might have been my fault that it became delaminated, because when I was busy putting in the blinds above the window back here, I used a screw that was too long and it actually popped through the outside. That wasn't good. And also when I was putting in the little thing that you wind the string around for the blind, I put in too long of screws again, and there were two holes right there coming through the outside of the RV. So my bad, but it's not that much delamination. It's just below the window here, and it's mainly on this side here, which is the driver's side. What I need to do is get some kind of glue that I can pour down into the opening here. I've pried it apart a little bit because it wasn't completely open up there, but pried it apart. I'm going to be able to pour some glue down into that and then brace it with clamps against the window like that, and as well as down here. So it's going to be a whole bracing thing going on here. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what kind of glue to use, if I should go with epoxy or Gorilla Glue. I've seen suggestions for using contact cement as well. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to go with, but I've got the start done here. I've cleaned off all the way around the window, all the goopy stuff. I have to clean off the butyl tape from around the window that is down there. Then I'll be able to replace it all together. And squirrels are throwing pine cones at me. But so yeah, I have started this project today, and I have less time than I had originally thought I would have to get this project done, and I still have other projects that I need to get done or want to get done this summer as well. But you can see I have all my stuff out here for cleaning up the goop. I'm really excited to be finally getting started on this project. It's been a long time coming. I just got to get it done. I kind of have the rest of this month, part of September, but I'm not really sure how much more than that. But as long as I keep working at it, it should get done. Well, kind of has to get done because honey has to go into storage for the winter. To show you what the corners look like, these are the corners with the Eternabond on them. And this is something else I have to fix. The little door for the shower cover came off. I originally covered these corners with Eternabond when I was staying on Vancouver Island when I first got honey, because the weather was awful. There was so much rain and so much wind. I had already been dealing with a leak on the front window. I did not want to have to deal with any leaks. And because she is now 30 years old, there is a big chance that she could leak. So instead of risking anything, I covered the entire side corners with Eternabond. She hasn't leaked, but this stuff is ridiculously hard to get off. I'm using a hair dryer and a scraper and a lot of elbow grease to get this stuff off and then clean up all the goop that's underneath it. So I still have 3 corners to do. I'm not going to take you through all 3 corners, but I will show you how I'm getting this stuff off. The first time I put this on, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how the Eternabond was going to go around the corners at the top of the RV and down here where it kind of goes around a little corner. Everything else is straight and it worked pretty good. But the first time I put it on, it all wrinkled around these little corners and puckered, and it didn't look attractive, and I was worried about water getting in those little puckers. So a couple of years ago, I took off that layer, but when you're replacing a Eternabond over top of where you've already had Eternabond, you don't need to worry about getting all the glue off because it will just adhere to the old glue when you put the new strip on. So what I did, knowing that it was going to pucker around corners, is I did things like this, where you can see I cut and overlapped the Eternabond tape to make it so it lays flat rather than makes a little puckered ridge. If you sew, you'll understand that when you're putting in a sleeve, you have to snip the fabric around the curve of the sleeve. This is the same idea. You need to clip where the Eternabond curves. So I clipped where it needed to be clipped to lay flat. And it worked great as far as, you know, keeping everything dry and safe inside, but it doesn't look that great. And I have been dying to get the stuff off, and I'll be putting in new vinyl insets that go into this trim as well. Once all this is cleaned up and put on and sealed, the whole thing is going to get painted, and I'm really excited about how it's going to look when that's done. In the meantime, I have a whole bunch of grunt work that I have to do before I get to go to the fun part. I'm going to be spending the next few days getting all of this Eternabond off, fixing this window and the delamination, getting everything prepped for painting. I hope you'll stick around and watch my future videos about the whole process, because it's going to be a bit of a series of getting this RV ready to paint, painted, and looking pretty on the outside.